There are certain games that release and feel important before they even come out, and honestly, GTA 6 feels like one of those games already, not just because it's another Rockstar title, and not just because the trailers have hundreds of millions of views, but because the entire gaming industry seems to be watching this game differently. People are not only asking whether GTA 6 will be successful, that part feels obvious already. The real question people keep asking is what happens to every other open-world game after it releases. Because Rockstar has this strange habit of changing player expectations every time they fully commit to a new generation of hardware. GTA 4 changed how people looked at physics, character weight, and cinematic storytelling in open worlds. GTA 5 raised the scale massively while also making multiple protagonists actually work inside one connected story. Then Red Dead Redemption 2 came along and completely changed how immersive a world could feel, not because it had the biggest map ever made, but because everything inside that world felt intentional. The animals reacted naturally, NPCs had routines, tiny environmental details stacked together constantly, and eventually the game reached a point where players stopped talking about individual mechanics and just started saying the world felt alive. And honestly, I think GTA 6 might be Rockstar trying to push that same philosophy into a modern city. That is why so many developers seem nervous and excited at the same time, because modern cities are way harder to make believable than forests or wilderness settings. A crowded beach, a packed nightclub, traffic-filled highways, gas stations, apartment blocks, social media culture, nightlife, random pedestrians, police systems. All of those things need to work together constantly if the illusion is going to hold up. And from what we've seen so far, Rockstar looks like they are pushing harder into immersion than almost any studio ever has. Now, obviously the graphics are insane. People immediately notice the lighting, reflections, shadows, hair physics, water detail, cloth movement, facial animations, and environmental density. But honestly, I think visuals are only part of why the trailers feel so different. The bigger thing is movement. Everything in GTA 6 seems to move with more weight and more natural behavior. NPCs do not look frozen in place, waiting for player interaction. Crowds feel layered, vehicles feel denser on roads, small background details are constantly happening. Even tiny things like how characters shift their body weight or how traffic behaves in the background makes the world feel more expensive and believable. That kind of realism is difficult to explain until you actually see it, because Rockstar usually does not impress people through one massive feature. They impress people through thousands of smaller details happening at the same time, and I honestly think that is what makes GTA 6 feel so important already. The game does not just look bigger, it looks denser. That is a huge difference. A massive empty map is not impressive anymore in modern gaming. Players have seen giant open worlds already. What people care about now is whether those worlds actually feel convincing once you slow down and pay attention to them. And GTA 6 genuinely looks like Rockstar is trying to push that standard higher. Now, another thing that makes this game interesting is how handcrafted it appears to be. Right now, a lot of modern studios are leaning heavily into procedural systems, AI-generated content, and automated world-building tools. And to be clear, AI has existed in gaming for years already in many forms. But Rockstar seems to be going in the opposite direction philosophically. Everything we keep hearing about Lionetta sounds heavily authored, specific neighborhoods with their own atmosphere, characters designed around social media culture, distinct locations with unique identity, viral internet personalities existing inside the world, businesses, environments, and NPCs all reflecting a certain version of modern America. That stuff matters way more than people realize. Because believable worlds are not just technical achievements, they are cultural achievements too. The reason worlds like Los Santos or St. Denis felt memorable was not just graphics. It was because those places felt like they had personality, and Leonida already feels like Rockstar is trying to create their most socially reactive world yet. Now, one thing I find really interesting is how much attention people are paying to the simulation side of the game. Not just the visuals, but the systems underneath everything. People are analyzing traffic patterns, NPC density, environmental reactions, police behavior, crowd animations, weather systems, and how naturally gameplay transitions into cutscenes. That says a lot already. Most games get analyzed for combat or graphics. GTA 6 is getting analyzed like people are trying to understand how the world itself functions. And honestly, I think that's because Rockstar's biggest strength has always been immersion through systems layering. If enough systems react properly together, the world stops feeling scripted. That's the point where immersion becomes powerful, because immersion breaks incredibly fast in open-world games. A game can look beautiful in screenshots, but the second NPCs repeat animations too often, traffic behaves strangely, or pedestrians stop reacting naturally, the illusion disappears immediately. Rockstar has historically been better than most studios at hiding that artificial feeling, and GTA 6 looks like they are pushing even harder into that direction now that they are building specifically for current generation hardware. That matters a lot. This is the first fully new Rockstar open world designed around PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S hardware from the start, instead of needing to support much older console generations, which means Rockstar can probably push density, AI routines, animations, physics, and environmental detail way further than before. But there is also an important trade-off conversation happening around the game already, because several technical analysts have suggested Rockstar may be prioritizing world simulation and graphical density over extremely high frame rates on consoles. Now obviously nothing is officially confirmed yet. Rockstar has not publicly locked final performance targets, but even the discussion itself tells you something important. People already expect GTA 6 to be pushing hardware limits. That is usually what happens with Rockstar's biggest releases. They aim for immersion first, and honestly, if Rockstar really is prioritizing world complexity, lighting, reflections, simulation systems, crowd density, and environmental realism over hitting perfect performance numbers, that would tell you exactly what this game's philosophy is. The goal is not simply responsiveness, the goal is presence, making players feel physically inside the world, and I think that is probably the biggest reason GTA 6 could change gaming expectations. Not because every developer is suddenly going to copy Rockstar overnight, that is impossible, but because after GTA 6 releases, players may start noticing things they ignored before. Stiff animations, dead streets, static NPCs, repetitive interiors, lifeless traffic, fake reflections, environments that stop reacting naturally once you really focus on them. That is what benchmark games do. They quietly make older design standards feel outdated, and Rockstar has done that multiple times already throughout gaming history. That's why so many developers are openly talking about GTA 6 like it's some kind of industry-defining release instead of just another big game launch, because people expect it to raise standards again. And honestly, I think Rockstar understands that pressure better than anyone. They know players are expecting more than just a bigger map or prettier graphics. Players want immersion at a level most studios still struggle to achieve, and if Rockstar actually manages to combine the scale of GTA, the environmental detail of Red Dead Redemption 2, modern console hardware, advanced simulation systems, and believable social density all into one experience, then GTA 6 might genuinely become one of those rare games people reference for the next decade, not just because it sold well, but because it changed what players expect open worlds to feel like. And honestly, that is probably why the excitement around this game feels different from almost anything else in modern gaming right now. People are not only excited to play GTA 6, they are curious whether it's about to raise the standard for the entire industry again. And with that said, what do you think is going to be the biggest thing that separates GTA 6 from every other open world game? Do you think it'll be the graphics, the AI systems, the immersion, or just how alive the world feels overall? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more GTA 6 discussions, theories, breakdowns, and updates. And as always, stay hyped, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one.